So this is going to be part 3 on my How to Get Faster at F2L series, and this is going to be on Lookahead. So first off, I want to go over what exactly Lookahead is. It's basically looking ahead a few moves to see what you're going to do next in your solve, such as creating an F2L pair, inserting one, seeing what your OLL case is, and so on. So first I'm going to go over some prerequisites for learning Lookahead. Number 1 is you should be able to create and insert any F2L case from any angle, blindfolded. If you can't do this in its entirety, you can still watch this video, but you won't get a whole lot out of it. The best way to practice this is just by doing F2L cases without looking at them, and sometimes you might not even have to practice this independently, because it's really just something that comes with practice. So basically, if you already know how to do any F2L case blindfolded, then why are you focusing on solving that case when you could be predicting what case you will have next? That is the key to Lookahead. And by doing this, you can greatly improve your times by reducing pauses and having your solves flow smoothly. So now, I'll go over how to use Lookahead in your solves. So the first step is to dramatically slow down your turning speed. When I say turning speed, I mean the overall speed at which the layers of the puzzle are moving. This allows you to see the ways the pieces are moving much easier. The second step is to focus on the next pair you're going to solve instead of the one you are currently solving. Here's a quick example. And we have this case right here, which needs to be inserted right there. And we have this case right here, which needs to be inserted right there. So we should know how to solve this case fairly easily. But what we're going to try to do next is to predict what case these two will wind up in. So I'll let you guys guess right now what case there will be. So I'll give you a couple seconds. Okay, so now we're going to solve this case. And I'm going to go very slowly just so you can make sure you track these other two pieces. So I'm going to put that in there and track these pieces, not these pieces. So we're watching these. Okay, it's getting put into the slot. Now we're going to insert this back here, and then we're going to immediately bring this up because we know exactly that we needed to do that. So that's Lookahead in short, and instead of doing that first case fast and then pausing to see what our next case was, we did that first case slowly, and then we could immediately see what our next case was, and we did not pause at all. So that's a quick example of how Lookahead works, and I hope you guys kind of get a feel for it, and now I'm going to go a little bit more in depth into it, how to practice it, and so on. So now I'm going to go over how to practice Lookahead and how to start incorporating it into your solves. So the first step is just to try doing solves where you go as slowly as possible. You just try to solve without any pauses. And if you wind up pausing, then just go back and start again. And just do that for just a bunch of solves, 10, 20 solves, whatever works. That's a really good way to start using Lookahead. And once you can do that, then try, I like to call, it's kind of my name for it, but so basically the Friedrich method, CFOP, is a 7-look system, which is you have 1 look for your cross, 1 look for each F2L pair, so that's 5, and then a 2-look last layer. And if you don't necessarily do 2-look last layer, that's fine. Most people don't until they're like well under 20 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever. But try to do your F2L, meaning your first 2 layers, in 5 looks or less. If you can do it in 5 looks, almost 100% of the time, that's really good. You should try to do that. So I call it Look FMC. I know that sounds weird. So basically what I mean is FMC, fewest moves, fewest looks. So I know, kind of cheesy, but yeah, just try doing that. Try to see what the least amount of looks you can get a solve down in. So basically, always try to push yourself by maybe, like, if you can do a cross blindfolded, maybe try doing a cross and then maybe set up another F2L pair, without looking at it, and then maybe finish that F2L pair while doing another one without looking at it. Stuff like that. That is really, really, really helpful. The third thing is when you start incorporating Lookahead into your solves, never not use Lookahead, because it'll only enforce your bad habits, which is turning really fast and pausing, and it won't reinforce the good habits, which is turning slower and looking ahead. So when you incorporate it into your solves, always use Lookahead. If you have like a big, massive session on whatever timer you use for all of your solves, use a different one and don't care about your times. If you average, I don't know, 25 seconds and you're getting 32 second solves, that's fine. It's completely normal. I remember I started using F2L when I averaged, I don't know, like 45 seconds, 50 seconds, something like that. And at first I was like solving in, I don't know, 3 minutes with F2L. But after, just using it solidly for a couple of weeks, or I mean, not even a couple of weeks, a couple of days, that really solidified it, and then I was quickly back down to normal, very quickly. And it's similar with Lookahead, so always use Lookahead. It's almost like if you've heard people talk about switching to a new method, it's almost like that. Always use it. If I know Alexander Lau has the famous Rue user. He has a video about switching methods, and he said that he never practiced his old method. He would always practice his new method because that's the only way to really get better at it. So yeah, do that. Yeah, so don't get discouraged also if your times are slower, because they'll quickly improve. Another thing that kind of ties into this is set, let's say you're doing an average of 100, or average 50, average of 25, average of 12, whatever works. Always kind of set a goal for yourself. And when you're learning Lookahead, you should always try to set a goal of do all these solves without pausing. One thing that I did is one weekend I just sat down and I did a straight average of 50, average of 100, something like that. And I would delete the solve if I paused for more than once. So that's the best way to do things. Or if I started turning too fast, I would delete the solve. So it took a while to get up to those 50, 100 solves, whatever, but it reinforced the idea that I need to use Lookahead. So if that makes sense to you guys, that's kind of how you practice Lookahead. I'll go into some more specific examples. Yeah. So another application, or some more applications to Lookahead, is your last layer and your cross. Because I haven't really touched on that too much. I've only touched on going from one pair to the next, but in reality, for a lot of people, their cross to F2L transition, or some people, their last F2L pair to OLL, that can be a tough transition. Not usually, but just putting it out there. Mainly with the cross F2L transition, your cross is very important when it comes to Lookahead. You'd be really surprised. Because if you can plan your first pair, or even if you can just pair your whole cross in its entirety, and then plan your first pair while you're doing your cross, then you will, most of the time, if you have a really easy cross, you will have a really good solve. But your cross isn't even that much of your time. So that's really something you need to work on, your cross. The way I kind of incorporated Lookahead into my cross was I would, if I couldn't plan out the entire cross in inspection, which you should be able to, and doing crosses blindfolded really helps with that. But if you can't, like let's say it's a really tough cross, you should at least be able to plan out like 3 cross edges. Then after that, when you're doing you should be tracking your last cross edge, and then while you're putting your last cross edge in, look for your pair. That's a really good way to do things. It kind of almost makes it into 2 steps, like a partial cross and then cross plus 1, if that makes sense. So instead of doing entire cross, then first pair, which is a bigger step and then a smaller step, do almost all of your cross and then finish the cross and do a first pair. That's a good way to do things. Maybe you could do that blindfolded, like do each part blindfolded. That works. Yeah, that's all I have to say with cross. Also, if you have a really easy cross, try to plan your first pair in inspection too. And also try to just if you need more than 15 seconds, use it, because right now you're learning. You're not trying to unless you're in a competition, of course, you don't want to get a DNF or a +2, but still, if you get the idea, that's really it on cross and Lookahead in general. Now I'll go into now I'm going to go into Lookahead applied to the last layer. Not too much to say here, but it's still important. You can if you're using any sort of last slot method, which like winter variation or VHLS, or just plain edge control, partial edge control, then Lookahead is equally important there, because let's say you notice that you have no edges oriented while you're creating your last pair, which is something you should always look out for. That's Lookahead, combined in there, but kind of Lookahead to see what, if you're using 2-look last layer, see what how many edges you'll have oriented. If you're using full LL, try to track the corners and the edges, and that won't really help your times as much, but it's still very helpful. Like if you see that you have no edges oriented, instead of putting your pair in with an RUR prime insertion and then noticing that you had no edges oriented, then you take the pair out again and then do a sledgehammer. That's not as efficient. You should always be looking progressively forward. You should never be only focusing on the one thing you're doing now, because there's almost nothing in a CFOP solve, that requires your, if you practice enough, there's almost nothing that requires your full 100% attention at that one stage. So just keeping that in mind, that's really what you need to do for Lookahead. Thanks, guys. Tell me if you liked this video. If it helped you, leave a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I hope to finish up this series soon. So yeah, thanks.